Located on 225 acres in Garden City, Long Island, Nassau Community College, a member of the State University of New York system, has close to 20,000 students attend the school each year. The college mascot is Leo the Lion, and these are his stories of the school's absolute best and brightest who have graduated over the past 50 plus years. So let's catch up together as the Alumni Association of Nassau Community College proudly presents Lion Tales on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Welcome to Lion Tales. My name is Dr. Lynnda Nadien, and I am a director on the board of the Alumni Association at Nassau Community College and a proud graduate. I am here to celebrate the successes of our alum, and together we will share stories that will inspire, uplift, and often amuse you. Each week, I will introduce you to alumni of Nassau Community College interested in sharing their experiences while attending the college and the secrets to their success. The Alumni Association is preparing many upcoming events, and you as an alum can be part of the action. Look for many new and exciting events on the Alumni Association social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, and our web pages at ncc.edu/alumni. If you, our listening audience, have any positive news you would like to share about alumni happenings, we would love to hear from you. So email us at ncc.edu/alumni. Our guest today is Roosevelt Morring. He is a proud alum of Nassau Community College and graduated with the class of 2017. He is a SUNY Chancellors Award winner from 2017 and has a degree in food and nutrition, as well as a certificate in dietary management. Additionally, in 2019, Roosevelt earned his degree in nutrition and dietetics from Long Island University, which at the time was C.W. Post. He has advanced degrees in nutrition earned in 2020. Currently, he works as an advisor to the Nassau Community College Student Veterans Club here on campus. He is an Army veteran with 12 years total serving in the U.S. Army, and he volunteers at Long Island Cares and at the Nassau Community College food pantry called The Nest. Roosevelt is a mentor, an athlete, and a community volunteer. His work is exceptionally valuable to our college. Welcome to Lion Tales, Roosevelt Morring, class of 2017.
Welcome, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So we're going to go back a little bit to tell us about your decision to attend Nassau Community College and how the Nassau Community College path put you on this journey toward being on Lion Tales today.
Oh, that's simple. My decision to attend Nassau Community College was based on, first, the fact that I started losing my sight in 2009, and as it slowly progressed along, I decided that I wanted to do something to help the next person with their diabetes management and prevention. And Nassau Community College was a great fit because I live relatively close. I live in the veterans housing right here on campus. Mm-hmm. So to me, it was just a walk up the block, and I'm on campus. And that was my decision to attend Nassau. And I heard they had a good program for dietary management. And once I was here and realized that I still had the capacity to learn, I decided to stay on for my degree.
Yeah, we were speaking about that. And what are some of the courses that you found inspiring, upon seeking this degree and this certificate in nutrition and management, dietetic management?
The first class that I found to be inspiring was Fundamentals of Food Preparation, which is basically a industrial cooking class. It's 4 hours long, very long, it's an arduous class. You're on your feet for 4 hours. You're cooking, then you're prepping the plate, you're making the plate look pretty, then you get to taste your creation, and then you get to break down the kitchen and clean it up. So that was the first one that really inspired me, and it let me know that going to a restaurant is not as simple as just sitting down, ordering a meal, and eating. There's a lot of work done to get that meal to the table.
Right. It's sort of like an art form. Everything is really, when you watch some of the cooking shows and you see how food is prepared, there's a love and an art that goes into it to make it look, decorative for people to enjoy it. Do you find that you like to decorate the plate?
Not so much anymore, but then I did, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so who were some of the memorable professors that you had during that time period?
During that time period, I was very fortunate. I had Chef Eric Schaffler as my cooking professor. I had Patricia Devitt Brown as my human resources. And in a previous life, I served as an operations manager at Verizon. And some of the things that I learned in her human resources classes, I practiced for many years without knowing why I did it or where they came from. So that was great. And Chef Deidre Gibson, although she was not my professor, she made it a point to stop by every day and check on me just to make sure I was doing okay.
That's amazing. You know, we speak a lot about nutrition and dieting and healthy lifestyle. Can you sort of explain a little bit about some of the positives about that and then maybe some of the negatives that maybe people are not 100% sure of that would affect their health and lifestyle moving forward, and especially people that may be prone to diabetes or are suffering with diabetes at this time?
The basics of proper nutrition, and I will never use the term good diet, bad diet, just proper nutrition, is you want to keep your body in homeostasis, which is a good rhythm when everything is flowing and working correctly. And when you start throwing your body off balance by either eating too much or not eating enough, things start to happen. You put your body in a state of dis-ease. So for me, and any advice I would give anyone is to not so much count your calories, maybe count your carbs. But if you're coming from a family where there is some kind of trait of diabetes or another lifestyle disease, you should really focus on what you eat, how much you eat, and when you eat. Because all that's important, because you want to balance yourself out through the day. So you start early in the morning, have a nice breakfast, have a snack, have a nice lunch, have a snack, have a nice dinner, get some rest, wake up the next day and do it again.
What are some of the ways to sort of manage the diet with, we see like a lot of concoctions that you can make things with apple cider vinegar and cinnamon and adding these ingredients. Do you find that, are those legitimate ingredients to add to, let's say, your water intake? Or do you find that that is sort of just maybe people are just doing it because they see it on social media?
Well, a lot of those are good items to use if you use them in the proper proportions. I mean, it's easy enough to watch TV, watch Dr. Oz, we'll say Dr. Oz, for instance, or go online and you see someone with the latest, the turmeric diet or the cinnamon diet and figure, I'm going to do this. But if you're not doing it in the proper proportions and doing everything that follows behind that, it's not really going to serve you any real benefit. Because there's not just one cure-all for nutrition. It's everything has to work together. And what about when we focus on a huge intake of water daily? They say up to 64 ounces of water per day, which is really a gallon of water, where if you go back, let's say 15, 20, even 25, 30, when we were younger, we did not have that type of water intake. And what do you feel about that? Do you feel that that's like also legitimate, or that's something that, people just feel that they're drinking more water for whatever reason? One of the first things we learned in taking nutrition class is that for everything you consume, there is a formula for your particular person, be it your age, your weight, your gender. So a lot of people fall back on the old 8 glasses a day of water, just as a routine, when maybe that person does not need 8 glasses of water. Right. Because sometimes a person can consume too much water in one day, which is actually not healthy for you. And some people may consume not enough water, which is not healthy for you. Right. But my advice, if I was sitting down counseling a person or giving a person advice, I give them a formula, look at their body weight and say this has how much water you should drink ideally per day. And every day is not an ideal day where you're going to drink the proper amount. What are some of the good choices for having, hydration that are not water? What else? What other choices? I mean, there's so many choices, but what else could we have besides water? Because sometimes people get tired of having a water bottle. They'd rather have something else. Is there anything else you would recommend? I would not recommend soda. Right. No. Too sugary sweet, and high caffeine. Too bad. Too bad. I would not recommend fruit juice either. I know some people like to consume juices, but when my daughter was born back in the 90s, the first thing her pediatrician told us was try not to give her juice because juice is full of sugar and it has no fiber. And it throws off the balance of your fruits per day, because if you're supposed to consume 3 pieces of fruit and you drink 12 ounces of juice, you've probably just drank 5 or 6 pieces of fruit, not even realizing it.
Yeah, when my son was born in 2000, we weren't allowed to give him any fruit juice at all. They said no. So it was just his regular, the cow's milk up until, I guess, after he was 1. So I thought that was interesting because everyone thinks apple juice is the way to go for a baby, but it's really not.
It's really not at all. It's it has a negative effect.
Yeah.
Definitely
Now,
does.
there's so much information related to the field in terms of, what is really credible for the most healthy lifestyle. What would be a good balance for, let's say, a man in his 50s if he wanted to start exercising a little bit more and maybe trying to eat right? What would you recommend?
The first thing I would recommend to him is to go sit down with his primary care, outline what he's trying to do, and start slowly with the exercise first. And then maybe sit down with a nutritionist or a dietitian and get a nutrition prescription, which might outline how many calories how many calories you want to consume based on how active you want to be. And then they can split that down between carbs, proteins, and fats. And if you need more than water, some type of electrolyte drink, just to make sure that person is, maintaining what they need to get through the day.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting to see how certain age groups are trying to go back into let's say athletics, and you are a runner, and you recently got back into that, and tell us about some of your experiences as a runner.
Well, with me getting back into running and doing different type of endurance events, it's always interesting to sit down and see what the other athletes are doing, whether they're taking some type of energy supplement before the race, during the race, after the race, or some latest and greatest electrolyte drink. It's I have to sit down and carefully pay attention to what they're doing because that may not be the path that I want to take. I will tell you all the time, you should eat your fruits and vegetables. And if you're eating well, you won't need these instant energy pops while you're doing an event, unless it's like a really, really long event.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of it is about, hydration, because obviously you're running and you're losing a lot of, bodily fluids as well. Yeah. I don't think that there's any sort of the one-shot deal, but they do sell little shots of energy and turmeric and all of these different things. Do you recommend people buy those, or do you think that that's something that, again, you have to kind of weigh the pros and cons?
Definitely weigh the pros and cons based on your particular health state and what you're trying to attempt to do. A lot of I'm not going to use any names, the little energy shots are just either they're full of sugar or they're full of caffeine.
That's true.
Which takes you up and your body crashes when it's over.
Yeah. I was reading something about we really shouldn't be eating certain things that contain more than 7 grams of sugar per serving.
Yes.
And if you look at, let's just say, soda, for example, like grape soda, which tastes great, has about 56 grams of sugar for just one can. So we certainly don't want, children to be dousing themselves with all of the sodas, because it might not, it will not obviously help them in the long run at all. So for children, I think we have to really promote as much of, water, drinking water, having the piece of fruit as opposed to the juices. I think that is something to really focus on.
I agree 100%.
And so as a nutrition educator, what do people ask about, like your opinions about things? What are they really interested in knowing about?
The average person that I speak to is really interested in, how do I lose weight? That's the first question. How do I lose weight? Sometimes they don't like the answer because there's no quick answer to losing weight. I mean, you gain weight quickly, right, but it's slow to get rid of it.
Absolutely.
And, the two most common answers that I'll give someone is change your lifestyle, introduce exercise into your daily routine.
Do you feel 30 minutes per day for 5 days is a good way to go for exercising to begin with, or is that a lot? As
a start, that might be a little much. Yeah. I would say 15 minutes per day, 5 days a week in the beginning until your body gets used to it, because you don't want to damage yourself, because if it's too strenuous in the beginning, you're just going to say, forget it, I'm not doing it.
That's true, too. You might give up right away.
Yes.
You are listening to Lion Tales on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I am your host, Dr. Lynnda Nadien, and our guest today is Roosevelt Morring, class of 2017. Now, you were able to train for a 5K run and you also you are an Army veteran, and you served 12 years in the military. Can you talk about your experiences being trained to be a military person, and also how that impacts your work today?
My experiences in the military, as far as what I do today, is they prepared me to face adversity. That's the first thing that the military will prepare you to do, is put you in a bad situation and help you through it. That way you can handle it if it ever occurs again. As far as the nutrition part of the military and the exercise part, what some people consider themselves doing in this year or in the past decade with the intermittent fasting, that's been in the military forever. Or what they call fasting cardio, that's been in the military forever. You wake up in the morning, there's no breakfast. You go out and you do your physical training before you ever eat. You eat later on in the day, and your last meal of the day is somewhere between 4:30 and 6 p.m., and you don't eat again until 7:30, 8 a.m. the next morning.
And what are the ramifications on the human body doing that? How do you think that helps train for combat or being in the field, working in the field?
Well, with the diet, the way the diet is structured for the military, it triggers fat burning. Mm-hmm. It definitely triggers fat burning because you're up early and you're working out before you consume anything.
And how would you encourage a novice person to train to become a runner or to participate in like a 5K?
Start out walking and slowly, gradually introduce the running into your routine. And try to do that 4 days a week, be it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, or just pick 4 days of the week. Not all back to back to back, but pick 4 days of the week and start out walking and slowly introduce the running into it. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and just start to build up your endurance for the running, because your body also has to adapt to the impact on your feet, your ankles, your knees, your hips. Yeah,
and also the equipment. Now, runners have sneakers, but that's very important too. How do you have a perfect fit for, that shoe when you start running?
The shoe is definitely based on an individual, and you might want to change your shoes more frequently as you become a more proficient runner. But you go into a shoe store. I know everyone likes to order stuff from Amazon and order online. But if you're going to be a serious runner, go into a shoe store and try on a variety of shoes. Not just one. Try both of them on. Walk up and down the aisle. Walk up and down the aisle of the store to make sure that shoe is a good fit for your body.
Yeah, because I know that if you're wearing the wrong running shoes, it can definitely affect the lower back and legs and your hips as well. So that is very good advice, because we need to know about that. Now, tell us about the Empire State Building Run, because that is a really amazing thing that I've seen that on the news, but I know that you actually completed this.
I've done it twice. I did it this year and I did it last year. It's quite an experience.
And how many steps are there?
1,576 steps. It's 83 flights, and it's torturous. I will say that. I mean,
83 flights. Yes. I could run down 83 flights, but I can't run up 83 flights.
They say it's a vertical mile, and it's you feel so good when you get to the 80th floor, because you're like, 3 more floors to go. I can make it. I just got to push. But by the time, for me personally, by the time I hit the 70th floor, it's like my thighs are burning, my chest is burning a little bit, and I just want to finish. And the key thing with that is just keep moving. Don't think about anything else. Just keep pumping your legs, keep pumping your legs, keep pumping your legs. It's not a race. Just finish.
So that was basically like a strong walk up the stairs. You weren't actually running up them, or do you run and walk?
I started out running last year. And you tend to burn yourself out quickly when you're running.
Yeah.
This year I said, just set a nice even pace and just go up. Because there are too many people from last year and this year that I've seen that start out blazing fire, just gone up the steps, and by the time you hit the 50th floor, they're on the side because they've just completely gassed themselves out. So it's just set the pace, maintain your pace, and keep going.
Wow. I mean, 1,576 steps is amazing. And 83 flights.
83 flights.
Wow. I know it's a vertical mile. So when you're working with your relay team, tell us about that.
I've done a couple of different relay teams. That's for the half, for the half Ironman, there'll be one person that'll do the swim, one person that'll do the bike, one person that'll do the run. The swim is a mile. the bike is 56 miles, and the run is 13 miles. And it's a matter of choice of who's going to do what. I'm not a big swimmer, so I haven't done the swim. I've done the bike, and I've done the run.
Mm-hmm. And you also participated in the San Diego Triathlon. What was that like? That
was an experience. My teammate for that, my partner, my teammate, her name is Connie. She's a below-the-knee amputee, and she wanted to do the swim, and I would do the other two parts, but she definitely did a great job on the swim. I'm going to say she's a superb athlete, and we've made plans to do other events in the upcoming year. We're going to try to do a couple of triathlons together with her being my guide, doing all three parts, and hopefully do some more relay events.
And now, in the face of adversity, you really continue to shine and spread, a lot of positive energy. And whether it's a disability or an ability, what has been your quest for, overcoming certain challenges?
It's just I really don't know how to quit, and I enjoy being around people, and I enjoy watching someone else's story because people inspire me all the time. And my goal always is if that person can do it, I want to try to keep up with them just to show them that they're inspiring me. Like I said, my teammate, Connie, below-the-knee amputee, and she's out here doing everything that I'm doing and then some.
Right.
And that is just, it's so inspiring to me.
Absolutely. And it goes to show you that, no matter what we're faced with, that there's always an answer out and that you shine that light in the world and then people will respond to that. And I think it's something that we absolutely need. You are listening to Lion Tales on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I am your host, Dr. Lynnda Nadien, and our guest today is Roosevelt Morring, class of 2017. So as a mentor, you really have been a big inspiration to others, especially on the campus of Nassau Community College, working with the Veterans Group. Can you tell us a little bit about that work?
I find that to be the most enjoyable thing that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Because when I was a young man, initially leaving the military, I really had no one to mentor me or give me direction on which way I should go. So now I get to step in and help the younger generation. All the time my advice is probably not openly accepted, but I'm just trying to give them advice of what's coming up in their future. Whether it's save your money, whether it's, you don't need a new car right now, you're still a student, save your money. Maybe save money for a down payment on a house, or you're in school. Don't just come to school to collect money because the government's paying for it. Come to school and get your education and move forward.
Right, absolutely. And I'm sure you feel that having had a very good foundation at Nassau led you to the next degree and certificates and this level of education. When people ask you about pursuing education, what would your answer be to them?
When you feel comfortable enough to go back to school and pursue your education, I would definitely say do it. Do something that you love to do and it becomes easy for you. I once had a professor at Nassau, an English professor, who I had problems writing papers for, and all she would say is, because that topic does not interest you. When you find something that interests you, you can write. So when you find something that interests you, you'll go to school and you will do well in that topic. But it has to be something that you want to do. It can't be something that someone else is forcing you to do.
Right. And, being able to kind of have more diversity in terms of the work that you're doing, I think that that's something that really helps people become well-rounded. What were some of your other favorite subjects at school at Nassau here, besides diet and nutrition? Do you remember taking any other classes?
Oh, yes, I do. I enjoyed the anatomy and physiology, learning about the human body and how it functions. That was great. I enjoyed that. And I also enjoyed the history of rock and roll class because I love music.
Oh, that's great. And since we're at the radio station, we were just talking about that before, that there's so many different shows on 90.3 WHPC. You are listening to Lion Tales on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Dr. Lynnda Nadien, and our guest today is Roosevelt Morring, an advisor to the Students Veterans Club here on campus and a nutrition educator. I would like to thank our guest, Roosevelt Morring. How can our listeners contact you?
You can contact me by coming to the Student Veterans House, Veterans Resource Facility here on campus, 365 Rice Circle. Telephone number is 516-572-0570. Or you can reach me by email at roosevelt.morring@ncc.edu. That's SEVELT.MORRING@ncc.edu.
I would like to thank you for being our guest today. My name is Dr. Lynnda Nadien, and I serve as a director on the board of the Nassau Community College Alumni Association, and I am a proud alum. Lion Tales is also available as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. More information is online at nccradio.org. Thanks for listening to Lion Tales here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.